What's up, everybody? It's Alan the Kraken, and today we are taking a look at Lorcana Disney trading card game. Disney will launch a new card game to go up against Magic the Gathering and Pokemon. Ravensburger's Disney Lorcana ships in fall 2023. That's an important announcement and a great lead time. And you all need to understand that LGS's, Disney stores, all the strip malls in Orlando, everything in California, all of these companies and local game stores or game shops or just like gift shops within the Disney realm, they are going to have a massive lead time in order to prepare for this product. I anticipate it being very, very highly printed, but within reason, because they do want to be a TCG. I believe that they understand how a TCG works, being in the industry for 139 years. Ravensburger is a 139-year-old game publisher, and they are doing Lorcana, the trading card game. First sets are expected in the latter half of 2023, so we're going to get at least a one or two sets in the second half, so maybe we're looking at 4 sets per year. Most board game consumers will recognize Ravensburger for its popular line of Disney-themed strategy board games called Disney Villainous. Fantastic game. I will say that because they have been established for 139 years, and they are well known within the industry, this is going to be almost a slam dunk. This is about as slam dunk as you can get in the TCG space for an emerging card game. Um, I'm worried about the lead time and the amount of people that will be buying to sell and possibly resell. I am cautious about the flipper market coming in, but I just expect it at this point. I think a lot of people are starting to foam at the teeth and realizing what this actually means in the TCG market for the entire space. I think it's going to kill a lot of speculation. Like people that were looking at other projects, maybe like, nope, we're just going to go full Disney and see how it goes, and we'll roll the dice. And it's really going to come down to print run numbers and the initial demand. Now, Disney. I think Disney people will want to buy and collect these cards seriously? Maybe. Just because of the Villainous game was so popular that it may have spillover in consumer confidence from Disney collectors themselves to go ahead and try a TCG for the first time. I feel like a lot of Disney collectors have never touched a TCG in their life, so this is going to be a new experience for a lot of these collectors and possibly Disney investors. And they're not going to know what they're getting into, but hopefully people in the TCG industry like myself and other well-known and credible people will be able to steer them in the right direction through the waters of this market that's going to emerge. Until we know, like, even if they don't release print run numbers, I would still be cautious just because of the lead time about how much time people have to prepare, to save up, to buy credit card or not buy credit cards, but apply for credit cards and get credit card lines, get credit lines from banks and stuff like that. I expect this long lead up time to have it's going to be a very interesting release. We haven't had a release of this magnitude in this TCG space in a long, long time. Um, yeah, it won't even compare to like One Piece. It won't compare to Digimon. I feel like it's gonna shoot straight up to a top 5 TCG right off the bat in terms of the secondary market. Um, I will say we just saw the DC universe do those NFT cards, and I don't think Disney is going to go that route, but the DC NFT cards, The set itself did really, really well at first. It got flipped, and then the market has just crashed, and now it's kind of stable. I feel like we're gonna get that. I think we're gonna get a big bubble. It's gonna pop, and it's going to crash. But depending on the print run, is how hard it's gonna crash. Okay, that's what I'll say there. I think we're gonna go into that kind of market cycle with Disney Lorcana. Is there's definitely going to be a mass amount of flippers, especially with this long lead up time. So I'll get off that now. That series began in 2018, now contains 30 villains from across the Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars universes. This is huge. They're not saying that they're not going to do Marvel and Star Wars, but what they're saying is like they've had Star Wars come in through Villainous before, and if Star Wars is a thing and Marvel is a thing within Disney Lorcana, it's going to be massive. You're going to also get Marvel, and then you're going to get Star Wars collectors on top of Disney collectors. Then the print run doesn't quite matter as much because you're going to have three. This is like a AAA TCG title coming out of like 2 days ago, nowhere. So three massive universes for one TCG. Man, it just hurts my brain to think about calculating demand levels and demand curves and calculating prices of boxes compared to what we speculate might be a print run. I think a great point of reference will be the Villainous board game and seeing how many they printed. And maybe they would probably print like 2 to 3 times that amount for the first set just to get a baseline. It's definitely going to be very interesting to see how the market is going to evolve with all the news that's going to come out with this game. The basic idea is that there's a place called the Great Illuminary, said brand manager Ryan Miller, a veteran of Wizards of the Coast, who also helped design the gameplay of Disney Lorcana. So they do have veterans in the industry. It is a treasury of all the Disney songs and stories ever made, all of the characters, and it's where they're kind of recorded. The players take on this role of an Illuminator, this powerful sorcerer, has the ability to bring these characters to life off the page. Players will be bringing a band of their favorite Disney characters together to adventure in this world. The collectible card game will include a modern storybook art style and North American head games of Cassidy Werner. Shane Hartley, a global games creator director, said it was inspired by the storybook openings of classic Disney films and features visible line work and vibrant color washes and mixes both traditional hand-drawn qualities seen in fairy tale storybooks with new digital techniques. The game will also include all the flourishes that fans of collectible cards have come to expect from top-of-the-line releases. You know those little paint chip things that people sometimes have when they're painting their houses? Ravensburger Werner said, our art director has one of those from a manufacturer of different foil treatment for cards, holographic, with an ink spill or with a star. Yeah, he said he would kick me out of the office the other day. Ha ha ha, I'm kidding. But I could just sit here for hours looking at the pretty things. I'd say as a person who collects Pokemon cards, especially shiny Eeveelutions, now I'm a little afraid. I am really excited. I can't wait to add more cards to my collection. I think other Disney collectors will feel the same. I do feel like there's a disconnect from the TCG space, even though you have a veteran who has Cassidy Werner and who is it, Ryan Miller, a veteran of Wizards of the Coast. I feel like there's still a little bit of disconnect, and I'll explain why here in a second. This game is probably the largest potential that Ravensburger has ever gone after, Frank said, and hence also probably the largest investment that we have ever done in any type of project and initiative. We know that as you enter the TCG market that you're inviting the players for a many-year journey. That's a very interesting phrase. Yes, people
tend to leave TCGs after a couple of years or a few years of playing, but in general, after they like leave for a year or two, they miss it and they tend to come back. So I think it's a lifetime journey for some, but maybe it's a multi-year journey for most. So I'll concede that. It's something that Disney has never really allowed any collaborator to do. Yeah, getting Disney approval on anything, man, just thinking about like George Lucas's requirements, like it was literally a Bible, probably about 5 inches thick of rules that you have to do for Disney character creation and lore. When you're handling any project, and you have to almost memorize it before you start working on a project, and then like pass tests and crap. That's crazy. Like, but it makes sense because you have to protect the IP and the canon and the lore and make sure it's done well. But yeah, the the amount of rules that Ravensburger is probably going to have to be under is probably immense.
Folks will have to wait a little bit longer before they can see a preview of the actual gameplay, but Ravensburger told us that its goal is to create the most welcoming trading card game around. So, how the game will compare to its closest and notorious cutthroat rivals? Magic, I would say, has a very high competitive level or competition level, said Miller. People love that about Magic. We have pulled back from it, and this is where I feel like they're disconnected and they don't understand the TCG space anymore. I understand that they're trying to go after a more casual market and maybe even young kids who are within the Disney space who love Disney or grew up with Disney. But I feel like they're disconnected here and from the actual TCG demand. Uh, People play TCGs to evoke emotions, to backstab, to have these aha moments and just click in their minds or get that hit of dopamine. And without that competitive aspect, you're going to run into issues. Uno, Monopoly, chess, all cutthroat, all have ways of coming back from nothing, all have these aha moments where you lead an opponent and then you crush them think after they think that they've won. Like things like that, like create emotions, create stories, create camaraderie and prestige within the TCG space. If you're a player, if you're a highly ranked player, obviously you get a lot more perks. You're getting invited to events, you're getting invited to pro tours and stuff like that. So it does matter. The competitive level in a TCG does matter. And to say that they're going to be pulling back from that, I think is a very bad thing. I think that they should take it seriously and take the competition seriously if they're going to go into the TCG market. Um, Fans will get the first look at the cards themselves during the D23 Expo at Anaheim, California. The fan focused event kicks off on September 9th. I am 100% certain that this TCG is going to do well. I am 100% uncertain on how it's going to work in the secondary market because we do not know anything about the print runs. And I don't know if villainous print runs were disclosed or not, but I'm going to be doing research over the next couple days, I should say, and do a lot more digging to see what Ravensburger's capabilities are as a company. 139 years, German-based company. I feel like they're not going to have any issues at all. I think it's going to be a smooth release, smooth transition. Distribution's probably already in place. Uh, yeah. So all signs point to yes, but I also know what that means in this industry. It's easy to get wrapped up in the hype. It's easy to overextend and then get caught with your pants down as far as getting trapped with product that you can't sell. So, September 9th is going to be a very, very key date for this game. If we look at it and it looks like computer made garbage, that's just like thrown together and they have a couple stats and they're like, here's 5 hearts, here's 3 attack, here's 2 in defense. If they do something like that, I don't think this is going to do well. I think it's going to crash, and then it's going to be a collector's only market, and players will not be engaged. And if players are not engaged and there's no reason to buy further sets, collectors will just stick with the older product. Players, they keep the newer product afloat. Collectors, they keep the older product afloat, if that makes sense. Anyway, that's what I have for this news article, and those were my thoughts. I am really, really hopeful. I know that they're trying to be positive and trying to go after a casual crowd. I don't know if that's the right move, but you know what? I'm not Disney. I don't have $29 trillion in the bank, so maybe they know something I don't. But let's hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Thanks for stopping by. Remember to have fun. You all have a wonderful day, and peace.